name is Dorianne. My sister Jo was diagnosed with a brain tumour some years back. We'd moved up north to be closer to my sister as our mother was gone. Nothing to hold us back in. Our son had just started high school and everything seemed really good. Then my sister started to act very strangely. She slept most of the time, in fact so much so that she was not drinking her cups of tea like she would have done normally. He actually had to wake her up to do so. In the week that she was diagnosed, she came round to leave her dog round ours as we dog sat, and she couldn't speak. I was so worried that something awful had happened, so I kept asking her questions. Was it the cats? Had she had some bad news? But she literally just looked at me confused and held her hands up and shook her head. She physically couldn't speak. When she was finally taken and admitted to hospital, they discovered after an MRI that she had the brain tumour. My brother-in-law Tony phoned to tell us the news, and I literally just screamed no down the phone, and my husband had to take over because I was crying so much. It just brought back the awful memories of losing our mother, who died from a brain tumour not that many years previous. We'd always been close, so this news was absolutely a bombshell. While she was in the hospital locally, travelling, and as it was a weekend, travelling was not a problem. But when she was transferred over to James Cook, it required a bit of adjustments, so we weren't able to visit as much as we would have liked, and it was a long, tiring journey, which was costly because of obviously the petrol prices. But my brother-in-law Tony needed the help so he could carry on working. When she came home, I used to spend a lot of time either at hers with her, or I'd pick her up after dropping our son off at school and take her home to mine, and then I'd perhaps would go out for coffee, which it was another expense because the prices of doing so in a holiday area can be quite steep. I would also take my sister to her hospital appointments, or therapy, and doctor appointments when her husband wasn't able to because he was at work. During this time, it was really heartbreaking to see how she'd been reduced to a shell of what she'd been before, where she actually had to have speech therapy because she couldn't talk that well. Gradually, with practice and hard work, she regained her abilities to think and to speak. But it was an awful, long, uphill battle. Even now, after all these years, she's still not back to how she was. Everything is such a struggle for her. She certainly has changed after the tumour, because she was always a bit on the impatient side prior. But since the tumour, she's very impatient. She just lives from day to day. Her memory is now better than what it was, but she still relies heavily on her diary and her phone calendar. When we first went to see her after her initial diagnosis, it was hard having to remind her that our mother had died, because she couldn't remember that part. It's hard sometimes with the memories that she has, the fact that she can't. can't remember details, or how she felt or what she said. It's hard because you watch her and know that she's just existing, not living her life to the full. It hurts to see her the way she is now. So I wish I could turn the clock back and maybe we would have noticed, you know, if it had been earlier, maybe she wouldn't have lost so much. But that didn't happen. So we just enjoy the moment, enjoy our days together, and I'm very grateful that she is still here.